Hi there, welcome or welcome back to Oops, I Planted Again. My name is Courtney, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my Alocasia collection. These are one of my favorite types of plants. I would say, a kind of beginner collection. I only have a few, but I'm going to talk about price, care, and some advice when it comes to Alocasia. So let's dive right in. First up, we have my Alocasia Maharani. Now, this was previously the biggest Alocasia that I had. And then I accidentally overwatered it by leaving it bottom watering overnight. It was totally an accident, obviously. I just kind of left it and forgot about it. Two of the leaves died off, and this is the last one that I have, which makes me kind of sad because this one is my favorite. And I will say one that gives me the least trouble, knock on wood. But I did end up repotting it because I wanted to check on the roots and the little bulb thing, and they were all fine, so I repotted it into a bigger pot, which hopefully will help it restore all of those leaves that I accidentally killed. As far as price goes for this one, I got this at a local nursery and it was 15 bucks. When I got it, it was a lot smaller. It wasn't this big, but I will say with Alocasias, the thing that I love is, like, even if it has a bulb, it has a chance of growing, which I think is really great because most plants, once the roots, like once, you know, something bad happens, they're gone. But with Alocasias, I do like that. And yeah, this one's pretty easy care. I will say the overwatering kind of like hurt my heart with this plant. So don't be like me and don't do that with this plant. Now we have the Alocasia Silver Dragon. Now this one I've had for so long, and I just got a leaf going with this plant. So I bought a bulb for the Alocasia Silver Dragon. I think it was 15 bucks for a bulb. I like growing Alocasias from bulb. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. And I literally stuck it in dirt and kind of just put it on this back corner. It was under grow light. It gave me nothing. It gave me absolutely nothing. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? Because normally Alocasias kind of like pop up once they're ready, they're popping up. This one did not. It took forever just to even have a little stem. But I will say, once I moved it to a tiny grow box that is it's closed all the time. It has holes in the lids, stays under the grow light. Now this first leaf is popping up. So I feel like this one, compared to my other Alocasias, thrive in high humidity. As far as care, I feel like there's not much to say about it because I kind of grew it from a bulb. I basically treated it like a regular plant, watered it every 1 to 2 weeks, and just, you know, kept up with it. And I think now that it is in that greenhouse, the growth will be way faster than it was if it was just kind of like sitting out like my other Alocasias, which kind of is something that I'm thinking about, and putting them all in their own little grow box, because that may help them. And plus, they're also very prone, in my case, in my experience, they've been very prone to spider mites, which just gives me a freaking headache, and I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's Alocasia Silver Dragon, high humidity, and keep up with the watering too. Now we have the Alocasia Capria. Now this is probably not my worst one, but my second to last on this side of the spectrum when I'm talking about care. This one has given me trouble. This one has had spider mites. This one has had mealybugs. This one lives in isolation. And the first leaf that grew was like, meh. And I grew this from a bulb, and I think the bulb was like 20 bucks. I think I paid 20 bucks for the bulb. It was like, meh. And then the second leaf grew, and it was this one, and it was so gorgeous. Then the first leaf fell off, which doesn't make me happy. But then it had the mealybugs and the spider mites, and I feel like it's finally recovering. So I will say, I feel like this one also needs high humidity like the Silver Dragon, and it'll do really well. But this is the one that I would probably say I'm most excited to see grow, and I'm hoping that the care that I give it will, you know, expedite that growth, because it was doing really well, and then all the pests and all the bullshit, and now this is what we're stuck with. And I feel like it should have gotten a lot bigger by now. So I'm going to create that little Alocasia box, give that box the highest humidity that I can, because I'm not really interested in a cabinet. I'm not interested in having a cabinet. That's why I like my little boxes, because they're cheap and they're easy to keep up with, especially like if something goes wrong, like if there's a pest or something, they're just like right there and you can get rid of it. But that's probably what I'm gonna do with this plant, and hopefully I can give you an update on it in a couple of months. And that update is gonna be that it's super huge and beautiful and gorgeous. Now we have the Alocasia Black Velvet, and I actually have two of these. This one was a rehab that I got for free that is growing its second leaf, and this is probably gonna be my biggest Alocasia. And this is a little baby one that I paid $7 for a couple of months ago. It died off. I think I talked about it in a previous video, I'm not sure. Actually I did. It's my how to rehab your Alocasia, so I'm gonna link that video above. But I got this for $7. It was in moss though, so I kind of just forgot about it, died off, still had the little bulb, stuck it in dirt, and it regrew. I think we're gonna lose this leaf, and that's okay. And this is another one that I feel like is thriving under the grow lights, but like I've been saying before, I think the greenhouse situation is going to be the best for them, and I'm probably going to have to do that within the next week or two. Maybe I'll do it during Christmas break. But as far as care for these two, honestly, just keeping the soil moist. That's something that I'm kind of bad at because I'm an underwaterer, and you know, watering is a lot of work, but I feel like they like to be moist and they like to be under the grow light, and they really like humidity. Like this second leaf has shot up so quickly, and I swear it's because it's under the grow light. And I think this one's gonna be big. I think it's gonna be big and gorgeous, and I love the Alocasia Black Velvet. I would have to say it's probably my favorite Alocasia. And last but not necessarily least is the one that gives me the most trouble, is the Frydeck. So I paid for a bulb of this, I think it was $15, and I've never gotten past this size of leaf, and as you can see, it's bent over. And honestly, I don't know what the problem is. I can see another leaf that's gonna shoot out, and I checked the roots. The roots are small, so this container isn't really bad for it in any way. What is that? Oh, it's a piece of dirt. But I don't know, it hasn't had any pests. It hasn't gotten past this size. It had two leaves at once, one died off, and it hasn't done anything. It's under the grow light, maybe increased humidity. I was gonna put a support on it, but I don't know. This one is just the one that I'm just like, I don't know what you want from me. But I can see another leaf that's going to emerge. So I'm just gonna keep it hydrated, keep the soil moist, and keep it under the grow light. I have all of my Alocasias under grow lights because I feel like they do the best that way. But hopefully I can give an update on this one in a couple months. This is one that I'm just like, I'm not really 100% sure of what is the problem. But I don't know, hopefully I can figure it out and it'll grow big and beautiful. One of my biggest pieces of advice when it comes to Alocasias, in my experiences, they have attracted spider mites more than any other plant that I have had. So what I like to do that I feel like has worked in the past is to do a diluted alcohol solution, rubbing alcohol. The first time I did this, I used 91%. You shouldn't use 91%. You should use the lowest percentage. I think it's like 70% or something, or whatever the lowest one is. And you're going to use a mix of the rubbing alcohol and water. And then you basically just go on the leaf with like a cotton swab or a paper towel, something that you can throw away. When I'm treating with pests, I usually use cotton balls, Q-tips, paper towels, things that I'm going to throw away, because I don't want to use a rag and then go back and use that rag for something else in case, you know, I don't want nothing transferring. But I use the solution. I wipe down the front of the leaves, the back of the leaves, and the stems is really important as well. And a lot of the time, if it's gotten to a point where I'm just like super uncomfortable with the way the plant is looking or doing, I will repot. And when I do repot, I will blast the plant with water first before I do the alcohol, the diluted alcohol treatment. It just kind of helps get those little guys out of there. So if that's an option that you would like to take, I would do that too, but I would spray it off before you do the treatment with the alcohol. And then I like to maintain with Captain Jack's Dead Bug, and that has helped me immensely with spider mites with Alocasias. And I actually had one more Alocasia. I actually got rid of it because it was just giving me a headache. It's the number one that I would never get again, and it's the Alocasia Poly. I've had it twice now, I think, 2 or 3 times actually. and it just constantly attracted pests. The growth was terrible. It was just like awful. It was just awful. So that's one alocasia that I probably would never buy again. That's just my experience. That's just my opinion. It's just the one that I don't like. All of these have done rather well as far as pests go, but I do like to isolate them as a preventative just because they're one plant that's just like, it's prone to it, I feel like. But you know, it's plant life. That's just what happens. I still love alocasias. They're probably my number 2 under philodendrons. And I just think they're a beautiful plant, and I think everybody should have one in their collection. I just think they're beautiful, and they are nice to care for, and I like how they grow, and I also like that, like, even if it dies, there's a chance that it could come back to life if you just stick the bulb right back in, which I talk about in the how to rehab your alocasia video that I will link above. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video, and I want you to comment below what is your favorite alocasia, and if you don't have one, what is one alocasia that is on your planty wish list. I want to thank you again so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.